Right now at noon, the Milwaukee mayor is condemning the acid attack on an Hispanic man. We'll find out what he's saying about it. And Cher is coming to the Badger State, where she's performing and how you can get tickets.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at noon.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mark Kane. Thanks for tuning in to News 3 on this Monday afternoon. Hope you all had a good weekend. We have a calm start to the work week, but we could see some snow later this week. Let's head over to the Weather Center. Meteorologist Dave Caulfield has your first alert forecast. Do you believe, Dave?
In snow after snow, yeah. I can feel something inside that says I really don't think that this snow will be anything major, but we do have to talk about the impacts of the timing of that snow coming up in just a bit. Right now, we're in between systems on Doppler track, and we could still see a quick shower or two this afternoon, but most of us will stay dry. Temperatures are at their highs already at the noon hour, 44 in Madison, up to 48 in Janesville. A little bit of sunshine has peeked out in Madison over the past 20 minutes or so, but mostly cloudy skies today, and temperatures will eventually dip into the 20s to start off our Tuesday. We have an alert day in the forecast for that snow on Wednesday morning. We'll talk more about that and what you can expect as we head into the rest of the week in your first alert forecast.
We will see you then. Thank you, sir. A 61-year-old man is in custody in connection with an acid attack in Milwaukee. Police say Mahoud Velez was left with second-degree burns after he says a man doused him with acid on Friday night. The argument between the men allegedly started because of parking, but it escalated. Velez, who is Hispanic, says the suspect asked him why he came to the U.S. illegally, and he told the man that he's a U.S. citizen. Mayor Tom Barrett is calling the crime horrific and an action that every single elected official should condemn.
To single out someone because they're from a Hispanic origin is simply wrong. And we know what's happening. Everybody knows what's happening. It's because the president's talking about it on a daily basis that people feel they have license to go after Hispanic people, and it's wrong.
So have you talked with the
Charges are expected to be presented to the district attorney's office in the coming days. In Indiana, a semi-driver convicted of injury by intoxication is scheduled to be sentenced later today. In May of 2018, Wayne Murphy was driving a semi when he hit a school bus full of children that was stopped in Columbia County. More than 20 children were injured in that crash, and 5 suffered great bodily harm. Evidence at the jury trial showed that Murphy was under the influence of prescription drugs while driving, and a jury found Murphy guilty on 30 counts. We'll have more on this story in our later newscasts and on Channel3000.com. An Illinois man is arrested and could face more charges after a 3-vehicle crash in Grant County. Deputies say it happened Friday outside of Livingston on Highway 80. Officials say a woman was driving a car and slowed down to turn right when 35-year-old Sam Hamera failed to stop and rear-ended her car. That car was pushed across the center line and hit a Jeep. The driver and passenger of the car, the driver of the Jeep, and Hamera were all taken to the hospital. Hamera has been arrested for OWI. That stretch of Highway 80 was closed for 5 hours following the crash. Following record snowfall for October, Governor Tony Evers has declared this week Winter Awareness Week in Wisconsin. The governor's office is urging people to keep an emergency kit in their cars in case they get stranded. The kit should have snow shovel and extra gloves and hats and kitty litter or sand to help you give your wheels traction on icy roads in case you get stuck. Also, be sure to have your furnace or wood-burning stove inspected. And if you shovel or use a snow blower, make sure you're in good health and your machine is as well.
You've got bad fuel, fuel that sits over the summertime, and that's when it really starts to go poorly quickly. So the first thing that I always encourage people to do is get fresh fuel, and what that means is anything that's 30 days old or newer.
On average, there are about 18,000 vehicle crashes in the state each year caused by poor winter driving conditions. You can cut that down. You can cut that number down by simply slowing down and giving yourself and others more space on the road, and of course, not driving while distracted. At least 2 Trump administration officials subpoenaed to testify today refused to show up for their closed-door testimony, and 2 more are expected to skip their afternoon testimony. Impeachment investigators have been working behind closed doors, and 2 transcripts from those interviews have been released with more to follow. Even before seeing the transcripts, President Trump is pushing back, accusing Congressman Adam Schiff of changing the words and saying Republicans should release their own transcripts.
think you're going to see all of the transcripts that are going to be released probably within the next 5 days.
Yeah, they're going to release the real transcripts. Yeah, they're going to, well, I mean, who knows how much he redacts.
The lawyer for the whistleblower who triggered the impeachment inquiry says his client is willing to answer Republicans' questions in writing. President Trump, who answered Robert Mueller's questions in writing during the Russian election interference investigation, tweeted that the whistleblower must be brought forward to testify. Written answers are not acceptable. Democrats say they'll protect the whistleblower's identity. Clothing retailer Under Armour is under investigation by the Justice Department and the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. Reports suggest it's a criminal inquiry into whether Under Armour shifted sales to make the company seem healthier. But the company firmly believes its accounting practices and disclosures were appropriate. The retailer is struggling financially. It is losing sales to Nike and Adidas. Founder and CEO Kevin Plank stepped down last month. Under Armour currently has a partnership with UW-Madison. And Cher has extended her Here We Go Again tour, and she's coming to the Badger State. She'll be performing at the Kohl Center in Madison on April 9th, 2020. Tickets for Cher's show will go on sale to the general public November 8th. City Card members and fan club members will have access to purchase tickets November 5th through the 7th. Cher will also perform at the Rush Center in Green Bay on April 13th. And there's more to come on News 3 Now at noon. Up next, we'll see what Howard's working on in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Tomorrow is Election Day in many states, and we have a tasty treat for you. No matter who you support, these are big winners. Do you know what tomorrow is? Of course you do. How could you forget with all the ads and lawn signs everywhere you look? Even though it's not a presidential election, in many states the polls will be open, and it's important that everyone who can gets out and votes. So whether you head to the polls or not, we have an all-American treat that I promise delivers winning results. We start by unrolling a package of refrigerated pie dough and trimming the edges. Then we cut it into 12 rectangles that are about 2 by 3 inches. Now, in the center of each, we add a dollop of fruit preserves. As for the flavor, well, that's up to you. All I know is some people prefer going red with strawberry or cherry, while others insist on using blueberry preserves, if you know what I mean. Once we've added our preserves, it's time to top these with another piece of dough and crimp the edges before placing them on a cookie sheet and baking them off. After they've cooled slightly, we can drizzle them with our 2-ingredient glaze and sprinkle on some colored sugar. Now, whether you take these to share with poll workers or serve them up with friends, let's just say as a political conversation starter, you can't miss. The recipe for our mini fruit pockets is waiting for you online. I'm Howard of the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a red, white, and blue way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
All right, Howard, thank you. Our cool weather continues, and there's a chance for snow later this week. We'll get your first alert forecast right after this. Our Call for Action phone bank is open right now, ready to take on your consumer issues. And call our hotline. Volunteers will help you with any consumer complaints. The number is 608-270-2833. The service open every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday between 11 and 1. Let's check Wall Street at the noon hour. The Dow Industrials up 88 points. The NASDAQ up 41, and the S&P 500 up almost 12. Pam's out of the radio barn today, so here are your farm numbers. Time now for the weather. Dave's over in the Weather Center with an alert day.
Yep, early winter continuing across southern Wisconsin as we head into the middle of this week. We're sort of in between systems right now, but into Tuesday night and Wednesday morning, an alert day in the forecast for some light snow that will accumulate up to about 2 inches in spots, maybe some slightly higher totals north of Dane County, closer to La Crosse, but there will be impacts to the morning commute here. When we talk about snow, often we focus on snow totals, and really those are going to be minor everywhere you look, but it's the timing of this system that could present some problems with that snow still falling around 5 or 6 in the morning on Wednesday. So Doppler track showing no snow falling across southern Wisconsin. We had that rain yesterday, and we do have some snow off to the north and west, but we should be pretty quiet over the next 24 to 36 hours for southern Wisconsin. There's an outside chance of a quick sprinkle or shower this afternoon across the area, but really not seeing too much evidence of that on radar or on our tower cameras in Platteville or Queen Bee Radio Skycam. Some nice sunshine peeking through those clouds. Maybe a little bit less sun in Madison right now, but still a little bit of that is filtering through those clouds on the Edgewater Skycam. As far as snow chances go, again, we're probably dry as we head into the rest of Monday and most of Tuesday. It really is as we get closer to midnight on Wednesday when we start to say that snow becoming more possible and expected during the early morning hours of Wednesday. Note the time here, folks. This is Wednesday at 6 a.m. We still could have some snow falling in Madison, and while it won't be particularly heavy at any point in time, still that snow could reduce some visibility on the roadways, so you're going to want to give yourself a little bit of extra time at least for the morning commute on Wednesday. Now, if you need some extra time to get all those leaves out of your yard, I think the next couple of days will be your best bets, specifically on Tuesday. If you can wait until tomorrow, we'll have a dry day. It still will be a little bit breezy at times, but that ground will be a little bit drier, especially if we don't get any showers today. But if you have to do the job now, then today should work. Wednesday not looking good because that snow in the morning, even though those winds will be lighter, that ground will be snowy. And that snow expected to accumulate on those grassy surfaces and even on the roadways. So future track showing those temperatures in the mid-40s this afternoon. Should be pretty quiet. Again, an outside chance of a shower, but not going to impact our weather all that much. Starting off in the upper 20s on Tuesday. Plenty of sunshine on the way for tomorrow, but since we're behind a cold front, that means those temperatures are a little bit chillier in the upper 30s, so that sun a little bit deceptive tomorrow, as tends to be the case sometimes this time of year. And then on Wednesday, here's the time. This is around midnight or 12:30. That snow filtering into southwestern Wisconsin, and then during the early morning hours of Wednesday, continues to move from west to east. But here at 6:30, we still could have some snow falling across Dane County before everything moves out during the mid-morning hours, and definitely by noon, I think most of the area is dry. So here are your future track snow projected totals here. Generally looking at about 1 inch to 2 inches of snow with some slightly higher amounts closer to La Crosse possible. But really, we're all looking at basically the same thing here, which is about 1 to 2 inches of snow. The accumulation's not the major story, though. It's the timing where we could have some impacts to that Wednesday morning commute. And then speaking of impacts, the cold is going to have some impacts on Thursday, even with plenty of sunshine. Thursday and Friday highs only in the upper 20s as a strong high pressure system moves in from Canada, bringing that colder air. It does look like we moderate those temperatures just a bit into the weekend, with temperatures back into the low 40s by Sunday. For some more rain and snow showers could come our way.
14 for a low.
Yeah, it's November.
It's November.
Not January.
It's Winter Awareness Week.
Oh, yes.
We're well aware.
Yeah, that should have been here a couple weeks ago.
Okay, thank you. There's more to come on News 3 Now at noon. Up next, Linda Bartsch from the Bruce Company is here answering your plant and garden questions. The number to call, 270-9933. We'll get to your calls right after this.
News 3.
Linda Barch from the Bruce Company is here taking your calls at 270-9933. We're going indoors this time, obviously.
It is houseplants, but I was attracted by the wonderful foliage of the calathea is a really cool plant with the two-tone green, and then this cryptanthus is really attractive. That has sort of like a zebra-like pattern, but then the clematis actually has two-tone flowers to them, so that's a little bit unique.
What's
also.
This guy here?
This is myrtle, and there is one teeny little flower on here, but this plant is very, very old, and if you crush the leaves, there's a wonderful scent that's given off.
Something different?
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the phones. We'll start with Lenore in Reedsburg. Hi, Lenore.
Hi.
Hi, which question?
It is about my Christmas cactus. It's healthy. It's nice and green, and the petals are great. But it hasn't bloomed in over a year, and I don't know why.
Well, usually mine only flowers once a year. I have heard other people say that they actually have several sequences of bloom, but typically mine is going to be starting to set buds. My daughter already has set buds, but she has a south window. So depending upon where you grow it, and I always move it outside during the summer and then back in before danger of frost. And this year it was a little bit early, so that helps to stimulate the flowering.
Sunny window.
That would be great.
Okay.
Well, yeah. Well, I have like a north and the north and the east window.
Okay, east would be better.
Which one?
East. Okay. Thanks
Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks for calling. Let's go to Dennis in Fitchburg. Hi, Dennis.
Hi. How you doing?
Good.
Thanks for taking my call.
You're welcome. What's your question?
So my question today is, we bought some delphiniums at the end of the season, and we haven't got them in the ground yet.
Okay.
I'm thinking I could get them in tomorrow or today, but where's the best place? Should we keep them in a place that's sheltered from the wind or just out in the open?
Well, that delphinium, it's been inside in a warm location to this point.
It is.
It's going to be sort of a shock for that little plant. Well, the best thing is to get it in the ground, and the cold temperature at night is going to freeze off the top. But what you're relying on is that the roots are going to hopefully survive till next spring. I would plant it, and then I would mulch it with about an inch, no more than 2 inches of wood mulch to keep that soil. See, that's. This is not the best time to be planting those delphiniums. I'm not real hopeful, but get them in the ground and mulch them and just hope for the best.
All right. Thanks for calling. Let's go to Ashley in Fitchburg. Hi, Ashley.
Hi, it's Ashlyn.
Oh, Ashlyn, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What is the secret to raising orchids at home?
Well, the secret is to first start with one that is easy to get to bloom, and Phalaenopsis is probably one of the easiest varieties. That's the one that has this sort of big circular flattish flower. I had it on last show.
The ones with big stalks.
Yes, with big stalks. Well, most orchids are going to do that, but there are others that are more difficult to grow because they want cooler temperatures, where Phalaenopsis likes to grow at the same temperature that we do. We like between 55 and 75 degrees in our homes typically. And you'll find that you don't want to overwater it. That's another key thing that seems to kill them off if you rot the roots, because they typically grow in trees where the roots are exposed to get lots of oxygen and are happy. So we grow them in chunk bark, and that gives them the oxygenation. But some people use that 3 ice cube rule. The idea is a small amount of water once a week is all that they really need.
Okay. Let's go to John in Monona. Hi, John. John, are you there?
Yes. Hi, Linda.
Hi.
What's your question?
I was calling to ask her, I planted, because of the excess moisture, my garden is down near Lake Monona. Because of the excess moisture, I planted my onions late, and they're still in the ground. They're deeply rooted. I pulled up a couple of the onions. They have long roots, but the tops are still green. My question is, should I pull the onions now, or can I leave them in the ground all winter and let them come to full growth in the spring?
Okay, I've left carrots in the ground and mulched them, and then been able to go out and dig them when we get some thought. Well, that mulch will help that area from freezing. With onions, I'm not positive. I could do some checking and then talk about it. Well, I'm not on next week, but maybe I can mention it to Lisa, or I'll talk about it 2 weeks from now.
Okay.
Onions.
All right. Onions. We're out of time. If you're on the line, stay there. Linda will talk to you off the air. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Dave has one final check of the forecast.
Yeah, Mark, this forecast has layers, including the snow possible Wednesday morning. For today, though, we're expecting temperatures in the mid-40s for highs, mostly cloudy. Can't rule out a quick shower, but most of us will stay dry. Those temperatures falling through the 40s and 30s tonight. Plenty of sunshine on the way for tomorrow, starting off in the upper 20s, but then Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, that's when we're watching for that light accumulating snow, about 1 to 2 inches, most of the area, before cold weather arrives Thursday, Friday.
Enjoy the warmth today, I guess. Yeah. All right, thanks for watching. We'll see you back here at 4. Have a great afternoon.